It's the fourth and final game of day one of the 2022 Division III Softball Championship back here in Salem, Virginia. And the very patient Warriors of Eastern Connecticut State and Thunder of Trine finally have their chance to shine here at center stage. Great to have you back with us. Moments ago, a ninth inning walk-off for the Seagulls of Salisbury. They await the winner of this tomorrow in our second day of the bracket. Meanwhile, the team that comes up short will be taking on a very disappointed group of the Big Blue for Milliken. Two teams who know how this works. We saw them in Tyler, Texas in 2019. That's just 2 championships ago. Eastern Connecticut State out of the Little East. The Trine Thunder from the MIAA. Lincoln Rose along with former Houston Cougar Sydney Gearbracht. And Sydney, we talked about it. For a lot of the fans who made their way out, fourth game today. We've already witnessed 23 innings of softball, but for these two teams, it is finally their time to take their rightful place out there on the diamond.
That's right, Lincoln. It's been a long day, but a fun one. Really looking forward to this matchup in particular because these teams have actually seen each other before. The Trine Thunder insisting that this is not the same team they were in March when they were originally matched up, and looking forward to seeing Eastern Connecticut do a great job and showcase their multiple top 10 stats.
So Trine, your visiting team here, as they are your 6th seed, and it is Ellie Trine. This might be a first in the history of all these years of Division III softball. She's got her last name on the front of her shirt to lead things off here. Ellie from Indiana, your player of the year, the junior in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association. Of course, Trine in Angola, Indiana, Eastern Connecticut State out of Mansfield, Connecticut. Mentioned we saw both these teams in 2019. The only team back from last year's championship field is TLU, Texas Lutheran, and they are facing elimination tomorrow. So while we have what you could call some blue bloods of D3 softball making their way back, we've seen some of the newcomers make some headlines already. But these two teams, well accomplished. For Trine, their 4th appearance, their first since 2019. For Eastern Connecticut State, they are 5-time national champions. And an early battle here from Ellie Trine, doing a great service for all of her teammates who will come up to the plate following her to face Alexis Michon.
Well, and what's exciting to watch about Trine is that Trine got hot in conference and is known by her coaches as the player that makes us go. So really a catalyst for this Trine lineup.
The payoff pitch, and that'll be a leadoff walk for Ellie Trine. So again, Trine, a 400 hitter, helps set the table. As Michon in the circle, getting her 25th start, a .93 ERA. She's 23-1 on the year. And you and I would be falling out of our chairs looking at stats like that, except we've been seeing stats like that from almost every pitcher we've seen today. It's just incredible the amount of talent converging here in Salem.
A ton of talent, and many of these pitchers in the circle today being named All-Americans.
Taylor Murdoch unable to get that bunt down, but Beal unable to track it down in time. Yeah, some of the best still contending for a national championship. All 8 teams still alive, but we already have 3 that have picked up their first loss today. Mentioned the team that comes up short here will be in that second elimination contest on day 2. Murdoch, first team all-conference, the senior right fielder, unable to get the bunt down. Now, we are realistic with 4 games scheduled today that there is a chance that this one is not played to completion here tonight. They'll try to get in as much as the weather permits. We are near the Atlantic Ocean, and this is the month of May. We are no stranger to the tarp crew putting in some long hours. But right now, we've been able to get the first 3 games in. Underway here with our 4th and final scheduled contest. And Ellie Trine led off this inning with a walk against Alexis Michon.
Michon coming into today's game with 189 strikeouts on the season. Wouldn't be surprised if she ends this season with 200 under her belt.
She's a transfer from Plymouth State, where she was the Rookie of the Year in her conference as a freshman, now in her first year here at Eastern Connecticut State on Diana Pepin's squad. Her head coach, a former Warrior in her own right for Eastern. Another payoff pitch here to the number 2 hitter in the lineup, and while the first one favored Ellie Trine with the leadoff walk, this will be a strikeout for out number 1. So first 2 batters work a full count against Michon with mixed results. So with 1 on, 1 out, unable to advance the runner, here is Amanda Prather. Prather, first team all-conference out of Indianapolis. Backyard of our best friends at the NCAA. As Prather in her junior campaign, 3 home runs, 40 RBI this year. So Prather, the anchor of this defense at shortstop, but they've certainly appreciated on offense those 40 runs batted in, hoping to possibly bring Ellie Trine around after her leadoff walk. The 1-1. Trine, their season last year ended when they had to withdraw from their conference tournament, of course, in the midst of the pandemic. But this year back for their 13th NCAA tournament, their first since that championship run in Tyler, Texas, when they would make the group of 8. They would ultimately fall to the eventual champion Bulldogs that year. Finished tied for 3rd that week. But missing out last year snapped a 12-year run for them in the NCAA tournament, as this one pulled foul. Safe to say they are back to where they believe they belong, fresh off a sweep in the Super Regional of Case Western to get back to the championship this week. Eastern Connecticut State with a sweep of their own against Randolph-Macon. We've seen the Yellow Jackets in recent years, as this one fell. Our host here, the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, with several schools nearby, very close to getting 2 schools into the championship this week, but each would come up short, including the defending national champion. Instead, it was the Coast to Coast Conference with the top 2 seeds this week, as 2 of their 5 members able to make it all the way to this final week. The 2-2 from Michon. And that will finally allow Ellie Trine to advance.
Eastern Connecticut has a outstanding pitching rotation. Michon, one of 3 Little East Pitchers of the Year on it. Not likely to see this pitcher-catcher duo give up many free passes. But we've seen some free passes be given up pretty early in these first couple games, Lincoln.
Yeah, you've got the All-American Morgan Bolduc on the squad, your pitcher of the year in 2019.
Yep.
As don't look Trine back successfully. With her speed, she now stands 60 feet away from giving the Trine Thunder the opening advantage. Again, Ellie Trine led off this inning with a full count, ultimately a walk. Now 2 outs later, she stands on 3rd with Ashley Swartout coming out. It was Carly Stoker, who was last year your Little East Pitcher of the Year, and this year Michon, as you noted. A slow roller. And ultimately Trine unable to plate the run here in the first as Swartout grounds out to Vilches. Top of the first complete. When we come back, the Warriors grab their bats for the first time, looking to strike first.
7 losses, number 5, Adrian Rosie.
Trine Thunder making their way back to the NCAA championship field of 8. As it's Adrian Rosie in the circle. Rosie, your pitcher of the year in the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association, the MIAA, is on the year now. Her 16th start, 113 innings, a .99 ERA, 14 wins and 7 losses on the year, but 141 strikeouts in those 113 innings. She was your regional most outstanding player, your super regional most outstanding pitcher, first team all-region this year, as she's about to throw her first pitch here in Salem, Virginia. Cassie Woods leads things off for the Warriors. Again, we mentioned both these teams were in Tyler, Texas for that championship. We've only had one championship since then, as we got back underway with the postseason last year. Woods, the All-American grad student, transferred from Keene State. And the highest batting average we've seen today, a .486 clip. And there's a reason why she's hit leadoff every single game this year. Her 71 hits right now are tied for the program best with her former high school coach, who also was a Eastern Warrior. Her next hit will give her her 72nd and the record all to herself. Sits back on that one, but still has to just fight it off foul, 1-2. For Eastern Connecticut State, even when they came up short in Tyler, Texas, the constant has been their last 5 NCAA tournament losses have all come by exactly 1 run.
Ooh, tough break.
Obviously for them, there's been a lot more wins than losses along the way, but those losses have been memorable ones that have just slipped away. Their only loss this year was in the Kane Regional. They lost 3-2 to Kane, only to come back and hand Kane 2 losses on the final day.
And another one of these teams that has single-digit losses on the year. Will be interesting to see how many of the teams that have the single-digit losses will go into the losers bracket, how they'll respond to being, having added another loss to that column. And what I love about Woods is she's one of the 2 graduates that has played every single game, but she's actually the only player that has started every single game thus far.
It's always nice when your leadoff hitter is always there and available for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can figure out the other 8 spots in the lineup. It is Woods leading off, Tyrell on deck, Matusowski in the hole. The 2-2 from Rosie. Frozer, strike 3.
I noted this in game 3, a lot of strikeouts looking today. Not sure if that's the jitters of playing in the big dance, but that is a ball that's a little bit too close to let go. And Woods is quite close to the line in the batter's box, so not surprised that that feels really inside, but a little bit too close to take with 2 strikes on the board.
Here's another one of your graduates, Alexis Tyrell, hitting .313 this year. Slow roller, and ultimately you just have to put that in your back pocket if you're the pitcher, Rosie. 1 on with 1 out. Tyrell able to reach with the infield single.
And Tyrell and Woods with that 1-2 punch. These are the 2 players, both graduates, both going to be playing in every single game thus far.
First base, 42.
Tyrell getting 47 starts instead of 48. Hopes to have a 1-2 punch where that second batter can still do the leadoff job if Woods isn't able to get it done.
Here's your All-American and Brooke Matusowski. Also has been a constant lineup every day. As this one down the line, it'll be caught in foul territory. Getting back is Tyrell, now with 2 away. 1 pitch, you retire an All-American, as Rosie, I think, will take that every time.
Batting 4th, third base, 34, Julia Sangiovanni.
So a chance to get out of the inning here. Julia Sangiovanni Out of East Haven, Connecticut, the senior, hitting .412 this year, 7 home runs, 42 RBI. Also suiting up for her 49th start in 49 games. Comes to the plate with Alexis Tyrell still running at first. You've got your pitcher, Michon, on deck. Hoping to give her a lead to work with as this one pulled foul. So your number 1 and number 2 seeds today have been able to narrowly hang on for wins. Your number 1 seed, CNU, not just single-digit losses, but single loss on the year. Now 45-1. Again, for them not to be national champions, they'd have to do something they haven't done in the entirety of the season, and that's lose twice. And a strike there to San Giovanni, 1-2. Your 2 seed, moments ago, the walk-off in the bottom of the 9th after they were trailing by 1 in the 9th. Seagulls of Salisbury able to come back and win with 2 in the home half to hand Milliken the loss. We also saw Barry, the 5 seed, out of Mount Berry, Georgia, and last year's runner-up, the Bulldogs of Texas Lutheran, TLU. A back-and-forth ball game that resulted in a loss for Coach Wilson's squad. And 2 outs, Tyrell on first. San Giovanni at the plate, the 2-2. The runner going on the off-speed offering, and the ball comes down to the glove. Otherwise, you had a chance to end the inning right there. Instead, the count goes full. Stolen base for Tyrell.
And a beautiful throw. Just not exactly sure what happened there. It looked like maybe got to it a bit late. Maybe just slightly off kilter at the very end there with a little tailspin.
Payoff pitch, foul, we'll do it again. So 16th stolen base in 20 tries this year for Tyrell. It's the Eastern Connecticut State program with 9 regular season titles since 2008. More importantly, 7 tournament titles, including the last 3 that lead to automatic bids to the NCAA tournament. Eastern Connecticut State trying to strike first, but with 2 outs, the payoff pitch. That's ball 4.
Batting 5th, the pitcher, number 25, Alexis Michon.
Again, here is your starting pitcher, Alexis Michon, who, by virtue of the walk to San Giovanni a moment ago, gets to swing a bat. See if she can give herself a lead to work with in the 2nd inning. We are starting to see some umbrellas pop up. I'm being told by my producer it's not for shade.
And we saw a little bit of rain earlier today. Knowing that that's going to change a little bit of the game plan for both teams, especially for outfielders, anything in the grass. Going to need to bury the ball as much as possible with those throws in. And also for anyone in the circle, do your best to place the pitch.
See it coming down. Let's see if this ball will get down. It does not. Caught by Prather. Prather shows off her range and keeps the Warriors off the board. After 1 inning of a long-awaited start between the Warriors and the Thunder in our 4th and final game of the day, we are scoreless heading into the 2nd.
With no runs on 1 hit, no errors committed, 2 runners left on base. We played 1 here in Game 4. No score between the Thunder and the Warriors. Tell the world you were here at Salem. Share your experiences. Connect with other fans and gain behind-the-scenes access to your favorite teams through social media. For more information, visit ncaa.com/social. Again, that's ncaa.com/social. And be sure to take home a unique souvenir from today's championship. Visit the NCAA merchandise stand near the main entrance to the Moyer Complex for great championship gear and memorabilia.
Fans came prepared. Again, they've had all day to scout out the weather, to cheer on their favorite Warriors and players for the Thunder. Lincoln Rose, Sydney Gearbrack. Moments ago, Alexis Michon had a chance with the bat in her hand to try and give herself a lead, and was probably just inches away from doing so, but Prather, the shortstop for the Thunder, able to deny her that chance to come through with 2 outs. So Michon back in the circle. 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up for the first time for the Trine Thunder. Thunder this year, 32 wins, 11 losses, went 4-2 to win the MIA, both regular season and tournament titles. It was no surprise they were your favorites going into the year. Scarlett Elliott leading things off here out of the 5-hole. Product out of Utica, Ohio. Again in the circle, Michon for Eastern Connecticut State. Her head coach, Diana Pepin, a 92 grad, coaching at her alma mater, has surpassed this year 500 victories after being hired back in mid-2001. Coach Pepin played on the 1990 championship squad for Eastern Connecticut State. As this one shot out towards left, could carry to the wall, goodbye. The Thunder strike first. Scarlett Elliott will touch them all. Her 5th home run.
And really great patience there from Elliott. You saw Michon actually miss that same pitch a couple times before she was able to put it in the slot that she was looking for right under the hands, but Elliott able to turn on it and send it out. Michon missed a couple screwballs, saw her miss her spot just based on the way her body was positioned. And Elliott again able to capitalize on, what wasn't a mistake in Michon's last pitch, but just a little bit too much plate.
So the sophomore comes through. And now all of a sudden the Thunder looking for insurance. Here's Emma Beyer. Beyer, a freshman, hitting .302 in her first season with 5 home runs, 18 RBIs. She was your most outstanding player last weekend in the Super Regional against Case Western Reserve. CWR out of the Cleveland area. Look, Beyer would be in the starting lineup if it was simply because of her glove at second base, but her bat this year has been a bonus on top of that mention, hitting better than .300 this season with a little bit of pop as well. As they appeal the swing, did not go. It's a Trine team that only the 4 seniors have experienced a full season and a postseason before this year. Unable to hold up. Here's your first out. Moments after the solo shot from Scarlett Elliott. The strikeout of Beyer.
And to your point, Lincoln, Beyer would be in the lineup no matter what. And what a lot of teams we're seeing do at this level is they're allowing some of their really athletic pitchers to be hitting for themselves. It frees up that DP spot, frees up the designated hitter. So if you have someone who's a bit weaker but is absolutely needs to be in the lineup defensively, you get a little bit of wiggle room.
Giselle Riley, your DP for Trine. Sophomore out of Temecula, California. .328 hitter this year, 3 home runs, 16 RBI. As Trine would love to give their starting pitcher, Adrian Rossi, some insurance to work with here. Winner will face Salisbury tomorrow in a winner's bracket contest. As loser will take on Milliken, a team that had a lead in the 9th inning. Only to see the Seagulls score a couple in the bottom half, and that's back-to-back strikeouts now for Michon after the home run.
And if I have it correctly for the Michon strikeout count, I think that's 192.
I had her at 3.
Okay, there you go. Or 193? Okay. So
No, I was saying 3 for today.
yeah, so that would
Yeah.
be 192. She came into today with 189, slowly inching towards that 200 mark. I want it for her. And Michonne really relying on that screwball, seeing it again and again, regardless of lefty or righty hitter.
Anna Gill at the plate with a healthy cut. Behind the count now 0-2. Gill out of Asheville, Ohio, the junior. Actually broke her wrist during the preseason, worked really hard to get back in the lineup, ride that left-handed bat. A lot of speed for this left-hander. See if she can try to beat one out with 2 outs here and a run advantage. Two and two. Again, last time we saw these two teams, Eastern Connecticut State against Randolph-Macon out of the ODAC. Went 8 innings in that first game on Friday for a 1-0 final against the Yellow Jackets, and then a 4-0 win to clinch it on Saturday. For Trine, a 1-0 victory over Case Western Reserve before the 6-2 win. 7 of the 8 teams that are here this week swept their Super Regional. WPI was the exception. They were the only team to win after losing their Friday game, and not just the only team to win, but the only team to even force a third game. So Scarlett Elliott with the leadoff home run in the second inning. A couple of strikeouts and a ground out as Michonne works to the next 3 in order. Trine in the driver's seat after 1.5.
The Thunder 1, the Warriors 0. Sports wagering has the potential to undermine the integrity of intercollegiate athletics and jeopardize the welfare of student athletes. For more information about the NCAA's sports wagering educational resources, go to don'tbetonit.org. Again, that's don'tbetonit.org. Position in the UCSU batting order, leading off the bottom half of the second inning for the Warriors. The left fielder, number 9, Carly Stoker.
Well, they had to wait a little longer to cheer on their Warriors after the previous game went 9 innings. But the cheering section for Eastern Connecticut State, along with that of the Trine Thunder, making their way out, hoping to stick around all week long during this 6-day championship. Of course, Trine has already struck. They did so with a leadoff home run in the top half of the second. This is the first chance for Eastern to respond, as it is Carly Stoker batting out of the 6th hole. Carly out of Sandy Creek, New York, the junior. We've seen her pitch this year, but the outfielder hitting .260 with 8 home runs, 30 RBI. One of about 4 arms that Coach Pepin has used this year effectively.
I love to see when coaches effectively use the full spectrum of athleticism on their team, especially when you have a pitcher who can be a great field player, who can contribute offensively outside of the circle, and obviously some contributions offensively from Stoker.
Stoker on the year as a pitcher. Was last year's conference pitcher of the year. Is focused on outfield recently. We mentioned she's one of 3 different individuals who have won pitcher of the year that's still active on this team. This is a fun group with Diana Pepin leading the way of her alma mater. One of their top priorities when they got to Tyler, Texas back in 2019 was go to Walmart and get some matching pineapple shorts. And there's almost a disappointment every time you see them and they're not wearing them anymore. As ultimately Stoker down on strikes.
Batting seventh, second base, number 3.
As Rossi is pitching with a narrow advantage.
And you're seeing Rossi have slightly downward bat angle. Has been on time for the first 2 strikes in there at bat. Just not able to capitalize. Gonna pitch a little bit higher in the zone.
Here's Alyssa Vilches. Vilches, our first Canadian to appear today out of Brampton, Ontario. If I recall correctly, still just one Canadian member of NCAA. And count 1-1. Vilches, another individual who has pitched this year. Hitting .389 with 15 RBI. A big hack at that one. Vilches listed at 5-1. Might have been in the strike zone if a little closer to 6-1. You see the Canadian flag, the maple leaf on the back of the helmet.
And a nod to Coach Pepin, who's doing a great job again of recruiting that whole athlete. Multiple players on this Warriors roster who are contributors in the circle, defensively as field players, and then also in the lineup every day.
And Rossi working with a 1-run lead, and she has fanned the first 2 batters that she has faced with that advantage. As there's Mark Correa again. Disappointingly not wearing pineapple shorts, but great to see the Warriors back.
Really working the ladder on that rise ball.
There's been some great strikeout pitches from Rosie on these last 2 hitters.
Really nicely done.
She's even making her own catcher, Phillips, work with all the movement on that.
Well, when you're starting it out of the zone, leaving it even further out of the zone, hard to have hitters capitalize on any misses of that ball.
1-1 count here to Carolyn Beal out of the 8th spot. Solo home run for Trine from Scarlett Elliott to lead off the top of this inning as the Warriors trailing early in this ball game. And Rossi, the sophomore, your pitcher of the year in the MIA. We'll see if this one stays playable in foul territory, and it does, and a nice job staying with it by Elliott. So after her home run at the top of the inning, able to track that one in foul territory, and after 2, the Thunder still up by 1 here on day 1 in
Eastern Connecticut State 0. The NCAA thanks our corporate champions, AT&T, Capital One, and Coca-Cola, and our corporate partners, Aflac, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buick, Dove, Geico, Great Clips, Invesco, LG, Marriott, Nabisco, Nissan, Pizza Hut, Reese's, and Wendy's. Their support enhances NCAA championships and the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes.
2 innings already into this one. Alexis Michon back in the circle. Warriors unable to match the run scored by Trine in the top half of the second. Thunder now looking for insurance here. As the 9 spot due up for the first time, Ainsley Phillips. Phillips, a freshman out of Yorktown, Indiana. And she fills the void left by a couple of senior catchers last year who wanted to make the all-regional tournament team this season. But Phillips, as a freshman, her coach, Donnie Dankelson, points out that her quick maturity has really helped this team as a whole reach its potential.
And it can be tough, like you shared, Lincoln, graduating 2 seniors behind the plate. Catching was a big question for Trine this year since they had no returning experience. And that second half of the battery is so important to pitcher success.
It was a tough start to the year for Trine. Started 0-7 against some of the best teams in Division III at that tournament. Team was able to refocus, learn from that process. And of course, they lost Coach Dankelson, who had to break away from the team during spring break briefly to tend to a child who had been hospitalized. He really wants to praise his staff, understandably, as Dennis Smith, Brittany Harvey took the reins of the program during that tough time. As Phillips shoots this one out to center, Woods underneath it, 1-away.
Center fielder, number 21, Ellie Trine.
Just passing that knowledge along to the next hitter about what you saw from the pitcher. Again, back to Ellie Trine. She walked back in the first inning, ultimately would be stranded on the base paths. See the rain still coming down. And it is starting to pick up.
Michon doing a great job of keeping the ball down. It can be really challenging, especially if you don't get a good grip.
They will play until they deem that it affects player safety, which would include a pitcher not being able to control the ball. Again, it is May, it is softball championship season, and this is part of the routine. If you love softball, you are no stranger to tuning in to a tournament and seeing a tarp out there with an estimated restart time.
That's true.
Conference seasons culminating with tarp cam, NCAA postseason. Not immune. It'll be softball or baseball.
Man, too, you're not going to get to this stage of the game and see very many pitchers throw a ball right down the middle, and that's really where it starts to get dangerous.
Michon has that towel on her belt that she can go to between pitches. And just off the mark that time.
And as a pitcher, it's really important at this point, especially if there's a little bit of, even if there's a little bit of humidity in the air, maybe the balls come in, it's not totally dry, making sure you can dry off the ball as much as possible, but when it's raining, making sure that ball stays in your glove. Notice how her glove is currently turned over. You can't see it from where we're sitting, or from the camera angle, but her glove is turned over, and she's shielding the ball from the rain.
If you're a batter, you're just hoping to take advantage of this moment of being able to play in the rain, hoping the pitcher will let one slip away. Got her on the 3-2. No control issues so far for Alexis Michon.
mean, that's really what you expect to see from a pitcher of this caliber. And again, another strikeout to the tally. Where are we at now, Lincoln?
That is 4 on the day. And you were saying she had more than 4 in her career.
Yes. She
is flirting with 200 on the season.
Yeah, about 6 or 7 left. And still has really great control of that screwball. It was the one that Elliott hit out to put Trine on the board, but has regained control of that pitch and moving it nicely.
Taylor Murdoch, first team all-conference this year with the cut there. She was their super regional most outstanding player a couple years ago when they made it to Tyler, Texas. This year hitting .336 with 6 home runs. And the crowd tonight is full of haves and have-nots. Either they have an umbrella or they do not. And that pretty much has a direct correlation to whether they are sticking around in the bleachers or taking in from a different vantage point.
We're seeing some hoods and some hats out there.
Are they those great NCAA.com hats that were on sale?
I don't think they are, but I do know that they are on sale. Just a shameless plug for that NCAA merch. See? Hoods, hats, rain jackets. If you don't have an umbrella.
And that's smart, the person who turned the popcorn over so it doesn't get wet.
Well, gotta do what you gotta do to protect your snacks.
2-2 with 2 outs here. Chance for a 3 up, 3 down. Michon trying to make as quick work as possible and get her team up to the plate. Try to take advantage of a damp ball. Not just a pitcher who would be affected, but a ball hit into play.
I have not seen Rosie or Michon today use the off speed as much as we've seen in previous games today. Really sticking with their horizontal movement. Or seeing Rosie really work the rise ball from the waist up. And then we're seeing Michon do a great job working the inside corner and the ladder in on the batter.
And Trine scoring the lone run in the top half of the second. Here we are in the top of the third, looking for insurance, but with 2 outs. And caught looking, Alexis Michon doing just fine in the rain out there on the diamond here in Salem, Virginia. Warriors back to the plate in the home half of the third, looking to match the run that Thunder posted back in the second. Thunder back out, defending a lone run advantage. 2 teams with coaches who have amassed over 500 wins apiece. And each of them greedily looking for at least 5 more this week.
As they should.
Warriors and Thunder. Again, we saw both these teams in Tyler, Texas in 2019. We did not play a championship the next year. Last year, only Texas Lutheran came back to defend their title. They come up just short on the final day to Virginia Wesleyan. Virginia Wesleyan unable to defend their title. They lost to another team from 4 hours down the road in CNU. As did most teams who played CNU this year. In fact, CNU did beat everybody who's on their schedule. Just happened to let one game slip away.
Could you imagine being that one team that beats CNU?
I would order the trophies right now. I say the winner of this week's bracket plays them. Yeah, CNU 45-1 on the year. Your champions out of the Coast to Coast Conference. Laura Zink, senior out of Maine. Up the middle, that gets through. Eastern Connecticut State looking to try to pounce here. Bottom half of the third, tying run is aboard.
Couple slow first innings in this fourth game, this fourth matchup so far. Good ball up the middle. Not trying to swing out of your shoes. And a good at bat too. Rosie doing a good job of controlling her pitches, being precise, not overthrowing in any way.
So back to the top of the order after the 9-hitter. Zink comes through. Bunt is put down. Oh, almost was able to get it past Elliott, who was able to snag it on her left side. Still gets Cassie Woods, though Zink able to advance to second. So successful sacrifice bunt, but inches away from being even more.
Well, and Woods doesn't have a whole lot to work with. Looks like Rosie is trying to get a swing and a miss pitch. But Woods able to capitalize and do her job, put that ball on the ground. Maybe on another day gets to push that past Elliott.
So back to Tyrell, the grad student. And this is where everybody has to know their role. Corners pinching in, expecting Tyrell to possibly put down a bunt. So then the middle infielders have to be able to cover their bases. With 1 out, 1 on, Eastern Connecticut State down by a run and a chance to tie it up here. A green light, play at the plate, and with the throw not being cut off, Eastern Connecticut State has another runner in scoring position. It's a brand new ball game here in the 3rd inning. Alexis Tyrell able to bring home Laura Zink.
Tyrell again showing that veteran leadership, drives that ball up the middle. Zink automatically getting the go-ahead to take that incredibly important last 60 feet.
RBI single for Tyrell. Of course, able to advance on that throw home. So Tyrell's 2 for 2 today. Here's Brooke Matusowski. Can she give the Warriors a lead with 1 out? Oh for 1 today against Adrian Rossi. See that rain coming down, as now it's adversity for this Trine defense.
And that was the one piece of commentary I left out with Lauren Zink. Have to slide it home, even though there's not necessarily a play at home, especially if the plate is going to be wet. That can be an inadvertent injury.
Donnie Dankelson's going to halt the game for a moment. Both coaches taking the opportunity to talk to their teams. And if you are Trine, I don't think that chat's going to give the rain an opportunity to stop, as it just continues to get heavier. Already the tying run has scored this inning. Zink coming home on the RBI single from Tyrell. As right now the conditions speak for themselves. The 2-0 offering, as Phillips able to squeeze it in.
This is the heaviest we've seen the rain, so you start to see a pitcher like Rosie start to lose control of the ball.
So there's 2 things that will influence whether play continues. One, the player's safety, but also whether the field will be in a condition to continue for the tournament the next day. And so the grounds crew can also intervene. And let's see if right now, well, no, this is Trine. I think they're going to give their pitcher a towel at the very least. And probably during that walk out there, the towel might be a little damp. You need a towel for the towel. Let's count right now, 3-0. Brooke Matusowski patiently waiting for this 3-0 offering. I'm guessing that bat's not going to come off her shoulder. Go-ahead runs in scoring position, and Alexis Tyrell, she had the RBI single this inning to tie the ball game. And it's a 4-pitch walk to Matusowski with 1 out.
Still a good pitch there from Rosie. Some good movement on that ball.
Look, if you're the team on offense, you love this. Because even if the pitcher executes a pitch, you put that ball in play, and it can be a challenge for the defense.
That is true.
But then the moment that you're put out there in the field, you might feel a little differently.
Yeah, they're going to be inheriting a little bit different conditions than when they last left the field, especially in the grass. As an outfielder, I'm looking at those conditions. I'm consistently checking our monitor and checking to see if there's been any changes in positioning.
Fourth and final game of the day. 1-0 offering to Matusowski from Rosie. 2 on for the Warriors. That one not tempting. That is 6 straight pitches that have not met the strike zone. And your pitcher of the year in conference, Adrian Rosie. Facing the 3-hitter for Eastern Connecticut State, with 2 Warriors on the base paths. Not tempting. And if you're Rosie, you're just paranoid. The ball slips away and just you give a fat one right over the plate.
Well, at this point, it's less about spinning it and more about placing it. You're not going to be able to have the grip on the ball in order to spin a pitch well. You're just going to have to place it well and do whatever you can.
Alexis Michon was able to get through her tough half inning, a 1-2-3, but it's now 8 straight pitches that have been off the mark as the rain falls down. And now the bases loaded for Eastern Connecticut State.
Well, Eastern has the advantage here too, because what we're seeing from Rosie is a pitcher that is going to work her horizontal pitches to set up those swing and miss pitches up in the zone that are going to tail up even further out of the zone. So if she's not getting the call on some of those horizontal pitches, you lose the effectiveness of that ball in the upper half.
Conditions slightly improved for a moment. You see coming back down, San Giovanni with that walk, and now here is your pitcher versus pitcher matchup. Moments ago is Michon in the same conditions. Was able to work a 1-2-3. And now they're going to bring another aide. A little rosin. Bases loaded for Eastern Connecticut State. They've already erased a 1-run deficit. Can they give themselves their first lead? As the rain pours down in Salem. And there's your first strike to the last 3 hitters.
When you can see the expression on Rosie's face and her body language, not happy. Potentially with her own performance, potentially with conditions, but seeing the pitcher bear down a little bit more here, which we love to see the competitor come out, even if it's a little bit of the not ideal conditions that bring it out. Saw her bear down a little bit.
The understanding is it's not going to get much better in the near future, and when we say that, we mean for the rest of the night. With 1 out, bases loaded. Michon with a chance to give herself a lead to work with, and in a game like this, you would like several runs in terms of a cushion, because there will be likely some moments that are out of your control. Tyrell, Matusowski, and San Giovanni are base runners. They're loaded. And down on strikes after a couple of walks, Rosie able to strike out her counterpart, as Michon could not lay off that final pitch.
And that's a great response from Rosie. 3 pitches. Able to use the stuff that we're used to seeing from her. Bit of off speed on the outside corner.
Big cut by Carly Stoker on the first pitch she sees. Rosie still with a chance to get out of this inning with only 1 run coming home. This is the 7th batter she has faced now, Carly Stoker. It all began with Laura Zink's single, a sac bunt, and ultimately Alexis Tyrell would bring her home. This one out of play, foul, but that's a no ball, 2 strike count now with 2 outs to Stoker.
The one thing that Rosie's going to have to be really cognizant of is making sure she doesn't cross her catcher, especially with multiple runners on base here. That's a bit of a threat that Michon didn't have to deal with.
A big pitch here coming with an 0-2 count and 2 outs, bases loaded. And Stoker able to lay off of it. Former pitcher in her own right.
Potentially an oversell there by the Trine catcher.
Her head coach, Diana Pepin. And Coach Pepin joined mid-2001 season at Eastern, while Coach Dankelson of Trine joined in 2004. When Trine joined Division III. This one out of play. Count's going to remain 1-2. Three games in the books today, including an extra inning affair that delayed the start of this one. For the Seagulls of Salisbury, the wait was worth it. A walk-off win in the bottom of the ninth against Milliken. So Salisbury will await the winner of this game, while Milliken will have an elimination contest against the team that comes up short tonight. Bases loaded for Eastern Connecticut State. They've already plated 1 run this inning. Looking for their first lead. 1-2 to Stoker. With bases loaded, that one gets through. Warriors strike again, and they're going to make them get the out at home, and they do. So the Warriors will get 1 run, and that's enough on that exchange to give them a lead. The final out at home will keep it just a 1-run affair here in Salem through 3. And Donnie Dankelson, 536 wins since taking over this program in 2004. 13 NCAA tournaments under his guidance, 11 championships in the conference. As he saw Trine strike first, but in the bottom half of last inning, Eastern Connecticut State able to tie it up and then find a lead on that RBI from Stoker before the final out was made at the plate, looking for an extra run. I believe Alyssa Vilches to lead off next inning. Here's Amanda Prather, who's already made a nice defensive snag today at shortstop. As Michon coming off a perfect 3-up, 3-down affair in the third. Has faced just 2 more than the minimum so far. This one will be foul.
Long strike.
Prather, Swartout, and Elliott due up. Your 3, 4, and 5 hitters for the Thunder. Elliott with a home run back in the second inning for their lone score so far.
Michon not having to deal with the same conditions that we just saw Rosie have to deal with and work herself out of.
Slow roller, somebody's got to get to the bag. They do. Nicely done by Matisowski, the All-American. Able to get back in time.
First base, number 22, Ashley Swartout.
Yeah, we'll confirm it's not raining quite as much now. Just the way Alexis Michon planned it. Asked her offense just stay out there a little bit longer. This will pass.
Michon, or the Eastern offense doing a great job of giving Michon a bit of a break. It's going to be strategic waiting out the rain here.
Here's Ashley Swartout, the senior this year's second-team All-Conference. She was on that 2019 team at Trine that finished tied for third. For Trine, again, this season was a journey after back-to-back losses in conference to Calvin and Kalamazoo. Had to win their next 8 games, including final 4 games against a couple of top 2 teams to win their conference outright, but they did exactly that. Been undefeated since through the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. Ultimately to get back to their 4th softball championship. Mentioned Trine had to withdraw from their conference tournament last year, cutting their season short and coming up short of a 13th straight NCAA tournament. Eastern Connecticut State won the Little East, but fell to Tufts in the postseason. Jumbos almost got back to Salem this year, but saw their lead in the Super Regional slip away to WPI. Payoff pitch to Swart out. Not sure if she lost track of the count, and they say she did not hold up. On a long stare in a general direction, and she gets rung up on the appeal.
And that is a great call by the catcher.
Nice job by the catcher to squeeze it, get the appeal, and it looked to be the right decision.
Yep. Both teams tried to sell it, and goes in Michon's favor. Another one in the books on the Michon K count.
Scarlett Elliott is the one batter truly to get the better of Michon, briefly giving Trine a lead back there in the 2nd inning when she led off with a home run. That was her 5th home run of the year.
And what I love about the way Michon is throwing this game is we really didn't see very many off-speed pitches in the first couple innings, didn't really need it. Now we're seeing her start at bats with off-speed.
This one into the pitch black sky, squeezed in by Woods. And that is now 9 straight batters retired since Scarlett Elliott's home run in the 2nd inning. Michon has settled in, rain or shine. It'll be the Warriors back at the plate, looking to add to their 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 4th. Both of our starting pitchers going strong into the 4th inning. Home half of the 4th, it's Adrian Rossi for Trine. Each team has had a 1-run lead. Right now it's the Warriors trying to build upon it. And their head coach, the 6th-time Little East Coach of the Year, Diana Pepin. This one custom sign in the stands that reads, "In Pep We Trust," for good reason. Again, she was here last year. She is the chair of her region, part of the committee. Now, when your team qualifies and an alternate replaces you, so we don't get to chat quite as much with her up in the press box.
Hopefully Rosie's feeling a little bit of redemption now that she's getting better conditions this inning around.
She wants those runs back. But she'll settle for the strikeout. Again, her counterpart has retired 9 straight Thunder hitters as they've captured the lead along the way. So Vilch is retired. Here's Carolyn Beal. Beal 0 for 1 today with a foul out over to the left side. Trine only has that 1 hit today against Michon. It was a big one, though. The solo shot. Beal here in the 8 hole of the lineup. One and one. The 1-1 from Rossi with 1 out. For Trine Thunder, you talk about the schedule they played. 14 teams on their schedule made it into the NCAA tournament. A couple of them are still playing. So this year they saw Christopher Newport, Texas Lutheran, this group of Eastern Connecticut State Warriors, who beat them 6-3 back on March 6th. And then they faced some teams like Belhaven, who are in the Super Regional, and some recent teams we've seen here in the championship, like Rowan, DePaul. Wartburg came up just short. They are well tested against championship caliber competition. As the count 2-2. Rosie did not pitch in that game against Eastern Connecticut State. Elizabeth Cook got the start, went 3 innings. And then Anna Keppel, who has since had an injury cut into her season, would help close that game out. It was Alexis Michon, who was your third pitcher of that night for Eastern Connecticut State, who'd be credited with the win with a couple of solid innings. Rosie's starting to find a rhythm. Trying to keep this a 1-run deficit as she fans Beal.
And you love to see Rosie come back with an off-speed pitch. A couple strikeouts back-to-back after a tough third inning. Able to work out of it, but having a really dominant fourth inning.
Laura Zink at the plate led off last inning. She would go on to score the tying run. When Alexis Tyrell brought her home, Zink was your starting DP at the bottom of the lineup against Trine back in March. Went 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Cassie Woods had the best game for Eastern Connecticut State offensively against Trine. Just 2 for 4 with a couple of RBI that day. It was Ashley Swartout, who was a stud with her home run with 3 RBI in the loss to the Warriors. March was a long time ago. There's been a lot of softball played since that first week of March.
There's been a lot of softball played since March.
There's been a lot of softball played today. And a variety of weather conditions along the way. Able to lay off the 2-1 offering, but it's in there for a strike, 2-2.
We noted in earlier broadcasts, Lincoln, about how important it is for teams to peak at the right time and for certain players to peak at the right time. And ideally, if you start the season hot, you want to stay hot. Not always the case, though. And these teams, I would argue, are certainly peaking at the right time here in championship play.
One of them is going to be in the winner's bracket tomorrow against Salisbury. Other team's going to be facing an angry group of Big Blue for Milliken. They saw a lead in the 9th inning slip away. That was a back-and-forth contest. Payoff pitch, shot towards center, but able to haul it in is Ellie Trine. So that's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Nice bounce-back job in the circle by Adrian Rossi, and it keeps it just a 1-run affair. Thunder heading back to the plate in the 5th. Well, they have a lead in their first game here in Salem, and with it some big smiles. Early deficit, but Alexis Michon not letting the big stage get to her.
Second base, number 6, Emma Byers.
So many great moments on this diamond over the years, over the past decades, both in Division III and Division II. Emma Byer will lead things off, struck out back in the 2nd. Again, Alexis Michon and this defense have retired 9 straight batters. dating back to the home run from Elliott to lead off the second.
And Michon doing a great job of introducing some newness to this Trine lineup. Wasn't really using a whole lot of off speed in the first couple innings. Seeing her work that in and early in the count as Trine has started to make adjustments. Michon has adjusted along with them. She's looking good, continuing strong, and this is the longest I think we've seen a pitcher go so far today.
Yeah, even pitchers who had leads after the third inning, we'd often see a change because the coach had the luxury to do so. We have so many talented pitchers. Lots of teams have an ace one and an ace two, if not a third ace as well. Emma Byer did not get to swing the bat the last time they faced Eastern Connecticut State back in March. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout against Michon.
Well, and Eastern has no shortage in terms of the depth of their bench. Talked about that a little bit earlier, but how Michon has a couple really talented peers that her team can call upon at any moment in case she, for some reason, can't get the job done.
3 balls, 2 strikes here to Byer, trying to become the first base runner since the second inning. And even Elliott was on the bases very long. Laid off it. There's a leadoff walk. It's the third time in 5 innings Trine has had success with their leadoff hitter. 2 walks and a home run. It's what they do after that that has come up short so far. So now tying run is on the base paths as Giselle Riley, the DP, comes to the plate. And Diana Pepin's going to talk to her pitcher. Let's see if it's anything more than that. Now it just looked like Beal came ready with a joke in case it was needed.
Do you know a thing or two about comedic relief?
No. I have swung and missed several times, not even a foul tip. Unless that counted.
Keeping the entire booth entertained, folks, not just me on the broadcast. And hopefully you all there at home. Thanks for watching. It's the Lincoln Rose Show.
Always a fun time here this time of year, seeing the best of the best. They'll throw behind the runner, just couldn't get the tag applied. As Emma Byer over there on first after her walk. Beal almost got her. I think that's what the whole conversation was. They had every reason to get the runner out, but the throw just off the mark.
And a couple throws that have, for both teams, that have put the players that are on the receiving end of those throws, rather, in precarious situations. We saw that with Trine earlier with Amanda Prather. With the rain starting to come down a little bit more, you want to try to eliminate any extra throws as much as you can.
0-2 pitch, not tempting. As Riley able to lay off of it. On deck, Anna Gill. Right now, the 7-hitter in this lineup, 0 for 1 today with a strikeout against Michon back in the second inning. Could she lay off that? They appealed down, did not go.
Loving that those behind the dish are doing a good job of advocating for their pitchers, making sure that any half swings, just making sure those aren't strikes.
A delayed steal and still able to get there in time. So Byer with the walk finally advances herself. And coming up, a 3-2 pitch to Giselle Riley. Boy, that was a late break from Byer.
When Rubeck does a great job of getting there and faking a tag, doesn't actually get the tag, but acts like she does.
Got her on the 3-2. 1 away. That was an awkward landing as well by Beyer when she came into the bag.
Left fielder, number 9, Anna Gill.
So 1 on in scoring position, 1 out. First pitch to Anna Gill, a strike. After Riley struck out for a second time against Michon. And coming back from a broken wrist in the same season. See if Gill can bring Beyer home.
And seeing some of these Trine batters take some big hacks. It's actually taking them out of their legs, out of their power. Well, they're taking big hacks, which is important for the momentum. I'd like to see a couple adjustments and trusting their barrel, but stay within their body a little bit more so they're not losing any power once they do make contact with the ball.
Got her looking, strike 3 for out number 2. Trine is still looking for its second hit of the ball game, the first being that home run. Right now they're trying to capitalize on the walk to lead off this inning for Beyer, but 2 batters later and she's still stuck on second base.
And again, Michon working the horizontal ladder with that screwball. He's been using that screwball all day, starting to complement it now with off speed on the outside corner.
Now the 9th spot in this lineup, Tyrell out there and right, going back towards the wall. That gets down. Thunder able to tie up this ball game. It's a stand-up RBI double from the 9-hitter Ainsley Phillips. The freshman comes through as we are even at 2.
And Lincoln, you noted earlier today how important it was for Phillips and her maturity and growth throughout this season. Big reason for the team's success. Takes a good pitch out off the wall in a big moment for her team.
And that'll do it for Alexis Michon, who, mind you, since the second inning, has allowed only 1 hit, but it was the big one right there, the double. We'll introduce you to Morgan Bolduc, the All-American, out of the bullpen when you rejoin us.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Eastern Connecticut State, number 2, Morgan Bolduc.
Well, last time we saw Eastern Connecticut State in the National Championship week, Morgan Bolduc was your pitcher of the year in the Little East. Since then, we've seen Carly Stoker and Alexis Michon get the award, but obviously going to the All-American, Morgan Bolduc is not going to be much of a drop-off here.
Yeah, Michon and Bolduc have been the 2 that have started games for Eastern. You actually saw a big hug as Bolduc entered the game, hugging her counterpart, and then we'll see Vilches and Stoker in relief the majority of the time, but it looks like the 2 aces, co-aces rather, are going to share the spotlight tonight.
And Ellie Trine, no relation, with a walk and a strikeout here today against Michon. She's the first to face Bolduc. Trine out of Kokomo, Indiana. The 0-2. And his first pitch thrown by Bolduc. That's not a strike. 4th game, and they have all had completely different journeys. In the N3 teams in the winner's bracket so far, 3 facing elimination. Included an extra inning affair prior to this one. Count 2-2. folks cheering on the women from the state of Connecticut. Oregon Bolduc in relief. Trine, slow roller right side. Matusowski able to get the final out, but not before the answer off the bat of Ainsley Phillips. Scores Emma Beyer as they make the Warriors pay for the leadoff walk, as we are even at 2.
Now batting for Eastern Connecticut State in the bottom of the 5th inning, center fielder.
Well, no surprise, we are deadlocked, 2 runs apiece. Home half of the 5th inning. Eastern Connecticut State is your home team by virtue of being the 3 seed this week, Trine the 6 seed. 2 teams that met earlier this year. Adrienne Rossi can hit the reset button from when the rain was pouring down and she conceded those runs to Eastern Connecticut State. Trine has helped battle back a brand new ball game here in the home half of the 5th.
And Eastern has an opportunity here in their 3rd look against Rossi to really put some more runs up on the board. A lot of ball game left.
Yeah, it's Cassie Woods in the top of the order today. A strikeout looking in the 1st against Rossi and a sacrifice bunt in the 3rd. Officially 0 for 1. Warriors with 2 runs on 4 hits. Trine 2 runs on 2 hits. Both of their hits have had an RBI to go with it. Of course, our coaches, at least from our last game that went 9 innings, paying close attention to this one. Presumably, their student athletes probably working a dinner in or getting plenty of rest, no doubt. Payoff pitch with nobody out. Back up the middle. And a manageable hop for Prather. Swartout able to keep her back foot on the bag.
Right fielder, number 4.
And Woods retired for out number 1.
Looks like it might have been a routine play, but ball hit hard, bounces off of the body of Prather. Still able to make the play.
Oh.
And all of a sudden,
Welcome back.
tough break for Rossi.
Didn't think re-entry was allowed. And yeah, Adrienne Rossi just probably feels like all the Virginia meteorologists have it out for her.
Well, it looks like she has her rosin bag, and hopefully we'll get the towel out here pretty soon. Has all of her tools to be as successful as possible with conditions you can't control.
Alexis Tyrell with an RBI single in the 3rd. See if this ball will carry, it will not. Dies down into the glove of Gill, 2 away.
Just a long out there for Rosie.
First base, number 42.
The first 2 batters in this order retired. Just happen to be the top 2 batters in the lineup for Eastern Connecticut State. That'll bring up Brooke Matusowski. So the All-American, 16 home runs this year. She is the all-time leader for the program, 41 in her career. And she's not someone you want to have a mistake pitch against here in the rain.
No.
Then all of a sudden it's the Warriors back up by 1.
And fortunately for Rosie, looked like that mistake wasn't capitalized on because that ball looked right down the middle from where we sit.
Now in an 0-2 hole, Brooke Matusowski.
And again, Rosie's going to be in a tough spot if it continues to rain. Again, important for a pitcher, important for every player defensively to make adjustments, but especially for Rosie, really going to be about placement rather than about spin at this point.
Nobody on, 2 outs, the 0-2. Hoping to get the call, not rewarded. lays off one that apparently is just wide.
Good spot there for 2 strikes on the board. Just about a half ball length too far out.
Rosie still a chance to get out of this inning. And it looks like she'll do so. Prather underneath it. That's a 3-up, 3-down inning. Last 6 have gone in order for Eastern Connecticut State. As Adrian Rossi getting settled in. But we are still in the midst of a tied ball game in damp Salem, Virginia. Well, the smiles have been contagious here in Salem. Starts with the players, and if they can smile, so can the fans.
Leading off the top half of the 6th inning for Trine.
I think that was the same group that has the sign "In Pep We Trust."
They're not going to let this rain be a damper on the night. Morgan Bolduc again has come on in relief as of last inning in the circle for Alexis Michon. As she faces the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup for the first time. First pitch to Murdoch. She's now 0 for 3 on the day. After a couple of strikeouts against Michon, the ground out against Bolduc.
Shortstop, number 3, Amanda Prather.
Gives way to Amanda Prather. Trine still just 2 hits today, but they have both brought home a run. The solo shot from Scarlett Elliott. And then Ainsley Phillips, your 9-hitter, last inning with an RBI. Bring home Emma Byer. Has this level here in our 4th game of the day. And a 2-0 count right now in favor of Prather, your 3-hitter in this lineup for Trine. And Prather this year, first team all-conference in her junior campaign. 2 times now in her career, first team all-conference. Also made the all-regional team.
Some good discipline there from Prather. Bolduc going 3-0. First time we've seen a 3-0 count so far.
And a 4-pitch walk to Amanda Prather.
Spoke too soon, other than when Rosie was making her adjustments during the first bout of rain.
We'll go back and edit it. Here's Ashley Swartout now with a teammate on the base paths in front of her. With 1 out, 1 on. Swartout 0 for 2 today. First time to see Bolduc. Morgan was a sophomore on that team that went to Tyler, Texas a few years back. She entered this NCAA postseason #1 in the nation, a .47 ERA. We mentioned between breaks how that has ballooned to .74. Still has a spot in the rotation, apparently. The 1-1. A 1-out walk to Amanda Prather. She's hoping she can come around to give Trine another lead today. They tied this ball game just last inning. And a 5-pitch walk. That's back-to-back walks to Prather and Swartout, your 3 and 4 hitters in this lineup. So who gets to come to the plate but your home run hitter, Scarlett Elliott? for her is a solo shot to lead off the second. As Donnie Dankelson, I believe, is going to run for Sword out. And we'll see what Coach Pepin has in mind.
One of the things you have to love about Bolduc and Michon matchup, or I guess complementary, the fact that they're complementary, is that Bolduc decided to take, I believe she's a redshirt senior. Or no, just, yeah, no, never mind, just a senior.
So Elliott, 1 for 2 today, a big one. A solo shot in the second inning that briefly gave them a 1-0 lead. We got Prather, the runner, on second. Pinch runner over on first. That is Clark for Swartout. Lexi Clark, the senior. And let's see if Lightning can strike twice for the Thunder here, with Scarlett Elliott having found her 5th home run earlier in this ball game.
One of the silver linings of the pandemic has been these players getting an extra opportunity for an extra season. Not really an extra season, but maybe a season and some change. So you're getting some great experience, some great veterans that are getting maybe an extra year they might not have had everything gone as planned.
Yeah, some of them will have a tough choice in Division III. One out, 2 runners on, both reached via walk. After Murdoch grounded out to lead off this inning, Prather with a walk, Sword out with a walk. Bench runner Clark has come on for Sword out. But Trine has the go-ahead run and scoring position with 1 away. Elliott off the handle, up the middle. A force at second. Do they get to turn 2? No. But fortunate the circumstances where that ball was played, you could just put your foot on the bag and get at least 1 out. Watch the left foot just in time. And let's see if Diana Pepin's asking for a review for the play at first.
We'll see if they appeal it. Elliott not running all the way through the bag.
It is officially being reviewed again. This is our first review of this game. It is the first review in the history of these 2 softball programs. Diana Pepin's very well aware of the policy, as she's one of the well-informed members of the committee in the NCAA, as we have seen throughout Division I, same as Division II and Division III here in the championship. Coaches can ask for reviews all game long. They have up to 2, and she might win the call there. Got to run through the bag. And the reason why is you don't want to slow down. And that is pretty darn close. Lazily, we say our officials will look at it. No, they will not. They have their headset on with the folks back in the Central Command in Pennsylvania. And that's going to be just the simple question, who got there first? So again, our umpires are not around a monitor. They simply have communication headsets on to listen to a decision made off-site in Pennsylvania. Same thing being done in Division I and Division II this postseason. We saw Division I, different conferences during the year have different policies of whether it was the on-site TV truck working with umpires or whether it was an off-site committee looking at things from a central location. Got her, double play. Diana Pepin successful on her challenge. Warriors turn 2, and it's just a gentle reminder that we all learned in Little League. Just run through the
Gotta
bag.
run through the bag.
Warriors will try to carry that spark into the next half inning in a tie. Rain continues to pour down as the Warriors, your home team here in this one, as the 3 seed against the 6 seed Trine. And as I say that, they have deemed that is not currently a playable condition. So bottom of the 6, we put a pin in things. It is 9:50 local time. This moments after that successful challenge from the Warriors, a double play. We still have the bottom of the 6 coming up. And barring an 8-run bottom of the 6 from the Warriors, we've got the 7th inning as well, at least for you. We've already seen some free softball in our last game, but we are in the midst of a delay. Tarp is coming out, and that is not going to be a quick turnaround. So at the moment, we do not have an intelligent guess on to when we'll resume, but we'll keep the stream up and running. As right now, the hardworking men, for the first time here in 2022, Salem grounds crew brings out the tarp. As we are in the midst of the 4th game, bottom of the 6th. Trine and Eastern Connecticut State tied 2-2 with the bottom of the 6th. The bats of the Warriors due up.